I really have to trick myself to get into any sort of bodybuilding routine. For whatever reason, I don't mind the regiment of it. You know, having to do a lot of extras. You know, do the exercises and kind of get into the routine and getting through it. That's not anything that's I'm against. You know, I love doing that with powerlifting, having that consistency in my workouts. What does get to me is just the sheer volume of work, having to do it, you know, at least with some programs, you know, almost daily or 5 or 6 times a week. And right now, at least doing what I'm doing, you know, alternating every other day and then doing back to back workouts on Saturday and Sunday. It's pretty good. I don't mind it too much, and it's just a matter of like tricking myself into enjoying bodybuilding by kind of breaking it down a little bit to smaller pieces, so I'm not just kind of diving right into this huge slog of back to back to back workouts, and really kind of taking time to do exercise choices that I enjoy. And I think it's making the difference for me getting into this time around instead of the last time I tried to do a bodybuilding routine where I lasted, I think, about 2 weeks, and I just decided I'm better off not doing this because I don't think I could stand doing it for the entire 12, 16 weeks that I had laid out for myself. So kind of with that in mind, these exercises felt pretty good. I felt like I had a lot of good progression, compared to last week when I first laid out this selection for a back and tricep focused workout. I've settled in on some weights, so there's no more like variety or like not variety, but guessing and choosing, and picking what I need to be doing for certain exercises. I've settled on, and I've know what I need to work on to be able to get them more consistent. So this, for example, doing the straight arm pull downs at 55 pounds, the first 3 sets are pretty clean. In that last set, you can see a little bit of whip in my arms as I'm doing them. So my forearms are kind of letting up a little bit, so my triceps can engage and pull it down a little bit to kind of start it, which is not ideal, because that's not how the exercise is supposed to be performed. It's supposed to be entirely with your lats and really kind of focusing on getting that bar or that handle down. So that's just something to kind of keep an eye on as I'm going through and doing this. So I don't think I'm going to increase the weight next week with that in particular. I'm just going to kind of focus on making sure I'm getting it properly. Doing the body weight tricep dips, again, nothing too terribly crazy. I focus on making sure that I got a good amount of depth and really made sure I was activating my triceps when I was doing them. And I feel like I had pretty good success with that today. A lot better than last week. And, with that too, I think that also just has to deal with getting back into the swing of doing these exercises. And I know I touched on that last week when I was talking about this with having to kind of get back into this program. It just takes time and some work to kind of really get back into that flow with it. But I think I'm pretty much there. Probably one more week of this style, this section, what's the word I'm looking for? This selection of exercises on my back and tricep day, and I'll be good to go with a lot of these. But some of them were a little touch and go at times. Things like the landmine presses, which I'm historically not great at, were a little difficult. But part of me wonders how much of that may be a result of me thinking that I'm not going to do them well and then not doing them well as a result because I'm already predisposed to not, or I'm already kind of like setting myself up for that idea that I can't do it. So it's just needing to focus on being able to get through and do the exercises properly, and just getting them done. I think it should be fine again. But overall, with a lot of these, like the T-bar rows here, felt really good. I was going to try to shoot for 4 sets of 12, but I ended up doing 1 set of 12 and 3 sets of 10, just because in that second set I just felt gassed right when I hit 10 reps, and I decided, hey, I'm gonna just cut it here and then focus on getting 10 for the rest, and then I'll do 12 next week and then start bumping the weights up. I tapered my sets off a little bit earlier last week just so I can get used to the motions again, and I knew that it was going to be a little tiring because I just was not used to doing it. And I did a lot better this time around with the T-bar rows of not engaging my legs when I was doing the reps. So it's entirely with with my back and a little bit of bicep engagement. The landmine presses, like I was saying, the first 2 sets were pretty good. I did, like I said, at 50, then, or like 45, then 55, and then I settled at 70 for the last 2 sets last week. Did 70 for all 4 this week. First 2, pretty smooth. Third set, was able to get through it, and the fourth set was a grind. So I think I'm going to repeat this weight again next week just to get used to it and make sure that I have it before I start kind of building things up, just because I don't want to push anything too far too quickly when I'm unsure of how I'm going to respond to it, especially when I'm still just getting used to this motion again. So, it's a work in progress. Again, I need to really kind of avoid having that predisposition that I'm going to fail this exercise when I do the reps on it, just because, again, it really just mentally sets yourself up for failure to where you're going to say, I can't do anything better than this. One thing I always try to focus on, especially with like the T-bar rows, was, okay, I did 12 reps last set. I'm going to do 10 this time, but if I can do more than 10, I'll try to shoot for 12. 10's the bare minimum. And I got to 10, and I really couldn't do more. But the next set, I had initially planned 8, similar to the week before. But I said, my head, okay, you're going to do 8, and then you're going to push for those last 2 reps. Even if it's going to be a struggle to get them through, get them, if you can. If you can't, that's fine, so long as you hit 8. And I was able to do 10 on the third set. And then that kind of amped me up and made me say, okay, you can definitely do 10 on the 4th set. You'll probably have enough energy feeling like it. You can do 12, but just stop at 10. So I pushed through, did 8, got through 9 and 10. I was able to do it. I kind of had the same mindset to where I was like, okay, I've already done 3 sets of 10. I can definitely do the 4th. But it was just how I was feeling with it. I gave myself a little bit longer rest. I was doing 2 minutes of rest between each of the first 3 sets. And then in the 4th set, I decided, hey, I need like 1 more minute to recover. So I gave myself 3 minutes of rest there just to get a little bit more energy back. And it was still something I was just barely able to accomplish. And even then, I was having to accommodate the exercise using like my chest and my shoulders and lower back, just to kind of lean in to cut some of the distance out of it and just push through. So they weren't like the cleanest reps in the world, but I was able to get through them. I think it's just going to get better over time. The French presses, just kind of more business as usual. They were a little hairy towards the last set, but I think it's just because I was tired overall from doing everything in this circuit. But that's understandable. It's not anything I'm going to say, oh, blah, 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 blah. I could have, should have, would have. But, it's just going to take time to build up endurance with these and kind of get into a good position to really build strength with it. I am not right now an endurance athlete. I know I've been in that position in the past, but I've definitely kind of gotten out of that form and capability with my body. I'm much more strength oriented now. But you can combine both, and that's something that bodybuilding kind of helps promote, is an incorporation of strength and endurance, because you're doing a lot of anaerobic exercising to just kind of like really get blood pumping into the muscles, really kind of trying to promote anabolic growth in them. And sometimes you just gotta buckle down and power through it. So I feel like it's going to get better over time. Not that I just feel like that, like it's going to get better over time. There's really no other way to approach that. So French presses next week, definitely going to incorporate the 45-pound set for the 4th set So definitely starting to move that weight up. Should be doable. Probably going to be a little bit hard just because, first time touching that weight, but it'll start moving. So I'm not too concerned. The one thing I did notice when I was doing these is that my triceps were tiring out, understandably, but the weight was transferring over to my shoulders when I was doing when I was in the negative position and moving the weight up instead of on my triceps. So I was trying to really focus on loading my triceps and not changing my positioning on the dumbbell too much. But it was kind of hard to find out exactly where I needed to have that in the moment because of that sudden sensation of, oh my God, I'm working my shoulders and not my triceps. Kind of caught me off guard. I was able to kind of figure out what I was doing, and kind of recover it in the end, but it still caught me off guard a little bit. But yeah, overall, I'd say a fairly productive workout session. One of the nice things too is that I've been fairly active at work lately, having to walk around. So I've been getting a lot of walking in, which I haven't been able to really do too much over the past few months. Just I've been kind of stuck at my desk, but I'm getting a little bit more cardio, quote unquote, involved in my day to day, to just kind of make things a little bit better and a little bit better just for muscle growth. Probably going to restructure my diet soon, and that's going to really help kind of promote muscle development, and I should hopefully lean out a little bit, just because I've been eating eating terribly for the past year, let's say. So hopefully I can fix that, and I'm going to fix that and then really kind of strive towards getting things being a little bit more consistent diet-wise to really kind of get into a better condition for muscle growth and development.